We don't condone the use of any illegal substance or any illegal activity. This video is intended for instructional and educational purpose only. Watch at your own risk. Viewer discretion is advised.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
In the garden where the green leaves sway, see bunnies rolling up, we light it our way. Mr. Guinness got the bombs, we puffing all night. Talking cultivation, yeah, we're feeling alright. Light it up, feel the vibe, let it be known. Garden Cultivation Network, we on the scene. Rolling that green, living out the dream. Chatting about the strains, how to plan it right. Join us every week, yeah, we light up the night. Wednesday to Friday, we keep it alive. Cannabis talks, everybody's feeling high. Sharing secrets of the grow, it's a sacred art. In this cultivation game, you gotta play your part. Keep it real, keep it tight, watch the plants grow. Garden Cultivation Network, we on the scene. Rolling that green, living out the dream. Chatting about the strains, how to plan it right. Join us every week, yeah, we light up the night.
What up? Oh, you're muted, Miss Bunny.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday,
Great way to start.
middle of the week. Yes, that's all
Yes,
right.
sir.
It happens. Everything works really good behind the scenes, and then as soon as you hit that live button, everything goes to shit.
It's because I muted it because Kiddo came down, and then usually it unmutes when you put on the show, but because I muted it, it didn't unmute.
Yes.
But yes, it is Wednesday, so welcome to another episode of GCN. Last week we had a great guest. We had Papa Puffs, aka Gen X, on.
X.
So that was a fun episode because kind of know him more on a personal level, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, he's come over here and hung out, and I've been over there and hung out, and we've passed real joints back and forth to each other, so that's always cool when you get to meet people from the community. So yeah, he lives real close to me, actually. Like I was saying, I went over to his house one day and did some dabs with him, and that motherfucker got me high. Like way high. It was fun. He's a cool dude. Super cool dude. But tonight we have another super cool dude in the house.
Another Canadian.
Another Canadian, yeah. We've been...
That's two in a row.
Yeah, we've been getting them on, haven't we? We've been bringing them all in. But yeah, he's a home grower. He is a Budtender, so we get a couple different perspectives here. We get the home grower side of things, and then we also have the commercial side of things. So it's going to be a fun one, I believe. But we got Nanu's Flowers coming on. If you guys have seen him on YouTube, he's got a lot of really cool videos on there, very informative videos on there. So you guys are looking to get some education, you can head over there and check that out. He's got a lot of really cool stuff on there, so definitely check it out. But I am ready to bring him on. What do you think?
Yes. Let's get the show started.
Here we go.
Happy Wednesday.
Hey, how's it going? I appreciate the amazing intro, by the way. That was awesome.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I was checking out your YouTube stuff the other day, and you got a lot of really good content on there. So
I appreciate that a lot, honestly.
Very informative stuff, very useful things. There's a lot of content out there that's not necessarily that useful.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of filler type stuff on there, but it seems like a lot of the stuff that I've seen on your channel has been informative. So
I appreciate that. Honestly, I like to focus on making content that I would want to watch personally. And I feel like, and this is like no hate to anyone else who makes content and stuff, but like there's like certain pockets that I feel like aren't explained a lot, or like, you know, like even things like with drying and curing, like there's kind of like the controversy when a while back when Build a Soil, they kind of like Jeremy from Build a Source specifically, he went over the his like drying and curing process, and he had mentioned like he doesn't burp his jars or anything, right? And I remember going in the comment section just seeing like the war about like burping your jars or not burping your jars and whatnot, and so I just didn't like see a lot of conversation about that aside from like Jeremy talking about it and stuff like that. So like everything from drying and curing to like growing the plant, you know, increasing your yields and things of that nature. I know a lot of those things have been talked about, but there's specifics that I feel like haven't been talked about as well. So I try my best to keep the content fresh and just like open a new perspective so that people aren't watching the video and being like, oh man, I've heard this information a million times before, right? So,
another one. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because I don't want to come off like I'm just like watching somebody else's video and just being like, let me make the same video kind of thing, right? I really do want to like bring like a fresh perspective to the whole thing for sure. So I appreciate that.
No, I like that. I like that for sure. But before we get too far into it, do you want to let everybody know who you are and kind of how you got going into the whole cannabis world?
Definitely. So honestly, I've been using cannabis for a good like 17 years of my life, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
You know, it really was special to me because growing up, even honestly, even like as a kid, I actually made a video about this where as a kid, I dealt with insomnia a lot. And so I really wasn't able to get a proper sleep. I'd maybe get 3-4 hours of sleep every night. And as you know, sleep's very important. And when that's affected, like I wasn't able to function in the same way that like I normally would have. And so I remember the first time I was introduced to the plant and I consumed cannabis, it was like a night and day difference. Because like for the first time, I was actually able to get a full night's sleep. And I just knew like this has to be a big part of my life.
Magical.
Yeah. And like it kind of had like the opposite effect of what like a lot of my buddies had. Like so like when they would smoke, they'd be like too anxious to go to the store and like, you know, like, oh man, I can't face the cashier, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, back in high school kind of thing. Yeah.
Paranoia sets in and
But for me, like,
yeah.
For me, I kind of had like anxiety, just like predisposed to anxiety a little bit, even like, you know, being sober and stuff. So it had like the opposite effect for me, where I felt like more functionable. Like I'm the type that like, you know, I'll wake and bake and then I'll get a whole bunch of stuff done. Right. And so I really feel like it's not for everyone, but you know, for me personally, and a lot of people I know, like such as yourselves, like I feel like it really is beneficial and it rather increases your quality of life rather than not. So that's kind of how I started with cannabis. And ever since it became legal in Canada, I always knew I wanted to kind of dabble with like seeing what I could do in the commercial side of things, especially with all the nightmares that you hear of and whatnot. I thought bringing my 2 cents into it, you know, would be really beneficial too. So even being a budtender, like it really is satisfying when a customer can come in and like they're really looking for like the best medicine for them. And like although the commercial side isn't full of like, you know, amazing medicine, I can still kind of steer them in the right direction.
You know what you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and I'll never recommend anything that I haven't tried myself, but you know, my boss might not like it, but I still always talk about like home growing. And for people who really use it as a medicine, I will always talk to them about like, hey, like I see you spending X amount of dollars every week on, you know, flour and stuff. And just know that you could have like A grade material if like you just do it at home. And like, you know, it really doesn't take that much either. Like all the information is online nowadays. And so you can grow a plant. Like it's not like back in the day where you had to like, you know, order in a book from High Time magazine. Like, you know what I mean? And so
And then so I like the fact that you're a bud tender, but you're a home grower on top of that. So you understand that side of things as the consumer, right?
For sure.
When somebody comes in and asks you a question, you're not the guy that's like, oh yeah, you need this one because it's 35% THC and that's the one. That's the one. Yes, it's $70 a quarter, but that's the one. That's the one that you need. You know, you're probably going through and you're looking at it from a more medical side of things, from a grower's perspective instead of just the consumer. And you now know about terps and cannabinoids and this type of thing. So when somebody says I have this issue going on, I need sleep, you automatically go in and go, well, what one works best for me? For you know what I mean? Like you have that knowledge going into it. Where I feel my experiences with bud tenders is They just
They
push
don't
you
know much.
towards what the most expensive, maybe the best looking, and maybe the
Yeah.
highest THC percentage. They don't
Mhm.
really know much about what the actual plant does.
Right. Yeah. And even like, yeah, like you just said, like a lot of the time when I'm talking about like what might work best for somebody, the last thing I'm thinking about is bag appeal. I'm thinking
Right.
about like what effects are you looking for? What are the flavors that you might be looking for? Like what kind of experience are you looking for? Right. And like you said, like, you know, if it's like for sleep or for anything else, it's kind of funny because I think I'd like to mention this too, that like as a bud tender in Canada, you're kind of like restricted to the language that you can use. So even
Right.
saying like the word sleep, I'm not allowed to like say that in the dispensary. So like I kind
No
of have to
way.
like,
Really?
yeah, I have
Crazy.
to, I have to
That I
work around.
didn't know.
Yeah, it's not allowed. Like we could lose our license over that. Like just by saying something
Wow.
like somewhat medicinal, because like sleep is something that a lot of medicine is
a
used for, right?
Because it's a
And
recreational
yeah,
place, right? So you're not allowed to give
exactly.
medical advice, I guess.
Right. And so I always like start with that, but then I'll say like, you know, whatever you're talking about, this is what we're going to be looking at. And then I'll point to the products that might help for that. But yeah, like you said, like specific terpenes, like, you know, looking for like a heavy kind of body feel. We're looking at like high myrcene and, we're looking for more of like that, you know, racy sour diesel feel. We're looking at like that terpenoline.
Yeah.
Really looking for specific terpenes when we're looking at the effects that we're looking for. And like, it's hard because a lot of the, as you guys are aware of, I'm sure, these companies are allowed to boost their THC percentages, like to what I think it's like a certain range, but as long as they have one flower from that whole batch that, you know, hits that THC, they can like put it a little bit higher and whatever it is. So a lot of those like cheaper brands, you'll see it. It's like 35% THC in a pre-roll. And I'm like, okay, the pre-roll is not gonna, you know, that's, come on now. That's, we're being silly. And then you'll see like the higher end. Yeah. And then you'll see like the higher end brands, like, you know, some of the ones that come to mind might be like Black Market, Simply Bare again and stuff. Like it'll be like mid 20s, low 20s. And a lot of time I'm recommending that stuff just because it provides a better overall experience. I think we really got lost with the whole THC thing.
I like that you just used the word experience.
Yeah.
I like that you used that word specifically because
yeah,
there's a couple videos that I've been working on and that word is in there a lot. And it's
okay, yeah,
talking about exactly this. Like it's not necessarily about the high THC. It's not necessarily about this one terpene. It's not necessarily about this one cannabinoid. It's about all of them together
yeah,
creating the experience. Like this whole thing is an experience.
exactly. And there like there is a such thing as high THC, you know, cultivars, but at the same time, something might test high just with THC alone, but with the terpenes and everything, that entourage effect, an 18%er could blow you up the water versus like whatever,
Yes,
that's
sir.
33%.
100%.
Yeah, and then
I was going to say I've experienced it.
yeah,
I know firsthand, like.
right, yeah. You guys are in the know, like but it's hard to tell the customers who just see the numbers and like, you know, to try to, because I'll explain it. I'll go on for 20, 30 minutes and then they'll be like, yeah, let me get that 35% or whatever. And I'm like,
yeah,
all right, you know, sure. What else for today, right? But the infused pre-rolls, I will say, are like the real, like the problem, at least in terms of like what I see. Because like a lot of the infused ones, they're botanical terpenes being added. There's not really any research, long-term research done in terms of how botanical terpenes affect your lungs when you inhale them. Lord knows where these botanical terpenes are coming from. And so they're being added to the pre-rolls. Even the THC, the oil that's being used in a lot of these like cartridges and stuff like that, apparently it's THC that's not even cannabis derived. A lot of it, it's like they're using like synthetic. Yeah, they're using like yeast and all sorts of different things. And like, so we're moving away further and further from the plant and those real medicinal properties, because again, the THC numbers, like people see like with the infused, some of them, like we have infused pre-rolls that say 70% THC. Like,
that's
and like the pre-roll is like it's like the outside is crusted with like diamonds and stuff, and you're basically smoking crack. And so you know, like I don't know, like it's
That's
really hard for me
that's
to
what it looks like
recommend.
to me when I see that. I'm like, man, like where how did we get here? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I went
yeah,
from
yeah,
smoking this beautiful green plant
right.
to now I'm smoking these diamonds that are over here looking like I'm smoking meth or something. Like it's just
Yeah, yeah, and they really
yeah,
advertise it like that. The way that like some of the videos, like it's like sprinkling the diamonds on it and stuff, and I'm like, dude,
yeah,
that's not weed, you
yeah,
know, or at least it's not going to give you that same medicinal feel that you're going to get from like a high quality cultivar that's specifically been bred for like whatever you're looking for from that plant, right? And so,
yeah,
yeah, I like that you mentioned that because I do really focus on, you know, trying to bring that experience to the table in terms of whatever the customer is looking for. Even if
yeah.
99% of the time the customer is looking for like the cheapest pre-roll for the with the highest THC, I'll at least try to steer them into, you know, like, hey, maybe check out this one. It's a few more dollars, but like just try it out, you know, like and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you can kind of gauge the person off of what they're
Yeah.
asking for. If somebody comes in and says, "I'm just looking for the cheapest pre-roll that you have,"
Yeah. Yeah. Then I
that's
know
like
that.
the guy that walks into the liquor store or the beer store that buys the buck of beer,
Right.
bottom of the barrel shit that just
Yeah.
tastes like garbage. They don't
Yeah.
care about what it tastes like. They don't care about anything else. They just want to
Right.
get high. That's it. That's the only thing that they're looking
Right.
for. They're not looking for the experience. They're not looking for the taste. They're not looking for smell. They're just
Yeah.
trying to get high. And you're just like,
Yeah.
just take it and go. I'll help the next.
Yeah.
I find
Exactly.
pre-rolls are too dry. I don't like pre-rolls because I find they're too dry. It's not the same as like rolling one from my stash when I want to smoke it.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And you guys know the homegrown stash, it's sticky as can be, like, you know, it's stuck to your
Yeah.
fingers and all that. Like you don't get that from the dispensary. It's all dried and if it's not dry, I find that a lot of the time they rehydrate it like it's already dry from before. And then so you'll see the bud, like you'll be like squishing it, like there's a nice squish to it, but it's not sticky at all. It's
Yeah.
rather bland and doesn't have
I
the
find
really
even
smell that.
when my homegrown is even when it's over dried. Like you take
Yeah.
a bud from a dispensary or
Mhm.
commercially grown, however you want to put it, and a really dried bud, and you go like this, and it just turns
Mhm.
to dust. It
Yeah.
disappears.
Yeah.
I take
Yeah.
one of mine, and it just rolls up into balls in my fingers, even when it's too dry. It doesn't break
Yeah.
apart like that. You know what I mean? It's a
For
completely
sure.
different consistency, I guess is the
Absolutely.
word.
Absolutely. When you're comparing
Totally.
that like tumble trim versus like what we do and like making sure that all the trichomes are intact and like the bud is at its like full preservation. We're trying to keep it how it is on the vine, but like, you know, drying and curing and making sure that it's at top notch condition. It's like a whole different ball game. And, you know, I'll admit
Got the
that
love
the
in
first,
there.
sorry.
It's got the love. That's
Oh
the
yeah.
difference.
Yeah,
It's got the love in the homegrown, where in the
for
other
sure.
stuff it doesn't, you know?
Exactly.
So
It's more
Exactly.
some,
profit.
I won't say all, some do. Like we were talking about this
Yeah.
before we came on, and there is companies out there that do still have that craft feel.
Yeah.
That still put it out the same way as home growers do, that actually care about the product that they're putting out. It's not all about money,
Exactly.
you know?
Absolutely.
And I think
Absolutely. And like a big respect to them because like the margins are not high at all in terms of like how
no,
much is really being made and especially with like, you know, people are not and I get it, the economy is not great and so people are not able to spend like that on cannabis and so, you know, people aren't getting paid like that. Companies are always shutting down, reopening back up
yeah,
as other companies and like, you know, just running through investor dollars, so to speak. And so yeah, for people who want real, like that real quality medicine, like I either really encourage them to find a caregiver or someone who really likes grows small batch and can grow what
yeah,
they're looking for, or to grow yourself. And there's nothing like growing yourself, honestly, to see it from
nothing.
like a seedling to a full grown plant, you're harvesting it. Like, and I don't know, maybe I'm a little superstitious, but I feel like when you grow the plant yourself, especially in like the cleanest way possible, I feel that the plant kind of like it harmonizes with you and it ends up
Yes.
being like something that really works for you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there's almost like a synergy between you and the plant, right? And so I feel that.
feel that.
And you know what's been
Definitely
put
feel that.
into it. You know if there's been problems. You know if this has had pests. Like,
Oh yeah.
you definitely know more than if you're just buying it out of a dispensary. You have no clue what that grow experienced.
For sure. And that's the other thing. I actually love that you brought that up because irradiation is a big thing that's common in the cannabis world. It's common in everything. Like even you go to the grocery stores, like damn near all the vegetables and fruits have been irradiated and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the problem with cannabis irradiation is that a lot of the time you are stripping terpenes. You're not even using product that is like A1 to begin with. A lot of the time, if you need irradiation, it's because your flower didn't pass the testing.
Right.
There's some type of contaminant. There's some type of mold. There's something, right? And so they'll irradiate it, and then they'll say like, you know, it's clean now, right? But I don't know if you guys have seen, but in the dispensaries nowadays, like a lot of the bags are see-through now, so you can see the flower through the bag. Some of these bags, it looks unfortunate because it's been irradiated, but you see the mold on the flower. Like you're looking at the flower, and it's like there's like fuzz, like and it's to the naked eye. It's not even like with the microscope, but they'll tell you it's safe to smoke because it's been irradiated, and I don't know how I feel about that.
I couldn't bring myself to do it. I wouldn't be able to.
No.
I wouldn't be able to. You know how much weed I've thrown away of my own, like outdoor growing, that's had bud rot or mold on it of some kind, whether it's powdery mildew, whatever it is. Like I've thrown pounds and pounds away. I'm definitely not. If I went into a dispensary and I saw that, I would turn back around and I would be right back in that store and I'd be like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
And
well,
I'm
that's
actually
what
gonna I'll just give it back to you. Keep my fucking money. I'm out of here. Like,
no, that's what I told my boss. I was like, honestly, if I were you, like, I can't force her to tell her what to bring in, what not, right? But I always try to give my recommendation because she does, thankfully, you know, think of my opinion highly. But I tell her, like, you know, that's one of the first bags that's on display when people walk into the shop. It's going to be a representation of what people think all the cannabis in the shop is like, and so we really don't want it to be like that. And so we've moved it out the way for now. And so I'm hoping she doesn't reorder this particular cultivar from this particular brand. But yeah, no, there's a lot of really sketchy, weird stuff going on. And again, like a lot of this stuff hasn't even been like there hasn't been a lot of studies done long term in terms of like how irradiated cannabis with mold affects us in our lungs, which I'm sure it's not great at all.
It can't be good.
I'm sure it changes the flavor and everything. Like I'm sure it changes everything about that flower.
I think irradiation, especially because there's different types of irradiation, but a lot of the cheaper styles of irradiation, you're basically stripping away all the medicinal properties of the plant and whatever's left, at least, because like if you need to irradiate again, like it's contaminated to begin with. And so you really don't want to be smoking that flower.
No,
in my opinion, you know, to each their own.
And to me nowadays, like it hasn't always been like this, but to me nowadays, I want as many medicinal properties from that flower as possible. Every single time I smoke, every single time I ingest in any way, shape, or form, I want all the medical benefits from that. Where at one point in time, it would have just been like, I would have been the guy that was going in, just give me the highest THC percentage, you know, 16, 17 years old, don't know anything about it. That's what I would have been going for back then. But once I got into growing and I kind of started learning about the actual plant and what it does and what it's actually done for me, changed my whole perspective on cannabis in general, period. Whether it was growing or just consuming. So
it's honestly I can speak more highly of the plant, you know. It's unfortunate that there's you know, bad names in the game, so to speak, but at the same time you got to roll with the punches. And you know, that's a big reason why I started working in the industry and making content as well, because I just wanted to be part of that, like, you know, positive light that can, you know, be shone on the plants and, like, you know, the medicinal side of it. And really just my main goal out of everything is I want I want everyone who can or has the ability to grow to try growing, and whether if it's from me or any other content creator, if you consume cannabis like on a regular basis and you consume it for medicinal purposes, whatever it is, and it's like very serious about it, I feel like you should grow it, because what you can get out of your home grow, it blew my mind. But I'll admit, the first couple home grows I had, I kind of butchered the drying and curing. I drying too quickly, jarring too early, and why does it smell like ammonia? Like,
But you know what?
But yet the worst grow is still better than a dispensary grow. Like my worst grow is definitely way better than a dispensary grow.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like even my fiance, like I remember, because like her parents were growing a few plants at a time, but they weren't really taking care of them. They were choosing cultivars for outdoor growing that molded really quickly and whatnot. So they weren't great plants or anything like that. And so when I told her that I wanted to try growing, I'm like, we can move away from buying from the dispo. Like, we can just grow our own. She was kind of skeptical, which, I can't blame her, because the only experience she had was like her parents growing like, plants that they did.
Yeah.
And so I remember the first harvest actually, and again, I kind of harvested a bit early, but they were still fully like proper, mostly milky trichome flowers. And it was a lot nicer than what I thought it was going to be. Like, it was actually really nice. There was no contaminants. I didn't get any bud rot or anything like that, probably because I harvested early too. But it was a good experience though, like C Bunny Grown said, that like it kind of blew away my expectations, and even like a lot of the stuff that I was already buying. So there was no reason for me not to move forward and just keep growing.
Like I tell a lot of people that your very first harvest, you might not get to a harvest your very first grow, but your very first time you ever get to a harvest, that's the best weed you've ever smoked in your life.
Yeah.
And it might be the worst. Realistically, it might be the worst weed you've ever consumed in your life.
But it's yours.
Best. That's that life-changing moment right there. But that's that life-changing moment right there where you realize, holy shit, I can do this. It's not impossible. It might not be the best of the best, but you know what? I got there. And that's the first step, is getting there. And once you get there, now you can start focusing in on this particular part, whether it's drying and curing, or whether it's trying to get denser flowers or bigger plants, or just better quality in general. Like, you can start now focusing on certain things, where at the beginning it's just, I just want to get to the end. I just want to finish this,
Yeah, definitely.
And like, yeah.
I was gonna say that, like, even like, I feel like a lot of people who try growing, they don't even really like put in too much like research into it. Like, a lot of the people, like even customers I've talked to at the dispo, when they talk about growing, they're like, oh yeah, I found a seed in my bud and I tossed it into a pot. Didn't really turn out to anything or whatever, but I guess it's harder than it seems, right? And I'm like, nah, you just got to do a little bit of research, right? Like, I honestly did a solid 6 months of like watching, like, Mr. Grow It, Rob from CLTV, just like all these like bigger channels and stuff. And like, I wouldn't even be making content if it weren't for those guys out there. So shout out to all those guys, man. Like, I Can THC, Rob, Northern Scrogger, like there's a lot of them, Mr. Grow It, a lot of them that like, really like made me realize that it was like an actual thing where I could grow top-notch medicine at home, and kind of blew my mind away. But yeah, no, I really am thankful to them for putting up like the content, especially back then. I feel like there was
way back
more,
when, yeah,
even more regulations and stuff like that. And so yeah, no, shout out to them for sure. Yeah, really thankful.
I like back in the day, like Pigeons wasn't even showing his face. He was from here down. You know what I mean? But he was still out there educating, doing his thing. And I feel
and you mentioned Pigeon. Sorry, no, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I just wanted to really quickly shout out Pigeons too, because Pigeons was the first YouTuber, like bigger YouTuber, that actually shouted me out on his channel. On there's a Tea with P episode, and he just pulled up my Instagram. He's like, man, check out Nanu's flowers. Like, he takes dope pictures and stuff. And I just, like, yeah, shout out to P, man. Like he's
That's
dope.
cool.
Yeah, I really appreciate all the love that he gave, and honestly, everyone showed me so much love from the beginning. I don't know if you guys know, but I'm also like a rapper and artist and producer, and
Oh, nice.
I made a song called "Grow My Own," and I basically shouted out everyone on it. I shouted out Pigeons, Rob, and everyone else that I had mentioned, and they
Nice.
all showed me
Nice.
so much love. Like they shared my song on their on their posts and whatever, on their stories, and so that really
That's
really
cool.
meant a lot. And I feel like that kind of like trajected me into like making content and like just like cannabis content and whatnot. For
Yeah.
like a year or two, I was just posting my plants on Instagram, and then just something in me was just like, man, there's like certain topics that I'd love to see on YouTube that I just don't see people really cover, and so let me just like fill that space, kind of thing, right? And so yeah,
And
sorry,
and I
again,
think
I
that
didn't mean to cut
I
you
think
off
that's
there.
no, you're good. I think that's a really good way to do it too, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for us, right? Like we make this content, but we're not necessarily making it for everybody else. We're
Right.
making this because we enjoy doing this. We like doing this. So if you can pick things that you would want to see, I think I was saying this to Bunny the other day, like we got to make content that we would watch. The whole idea behind this is making content that I want to see. And
Yeah,
you just said
yeah,
it right there. Like there
yeah,
was a lot of
exactly.
things that I wanted to see that I wasn't seeing, so I started making it. And that's you want something done
Yeah,
right, you got to do it yourself. That's the old
exactly.
saying, right?
I think that like applies to like every kind of field in life. Like whatever
For
you
sure.
want to see out of that thing that you're doing, or watching, consuming, you should put that out into the world, I feel.
Definitely.
Because it's really your calling. Like I feel like it's just like, it's that sign to like, put it out if no one else is putting it out. And so
And the thing is too is if you enjoy it, that shows.
yeah,
If you don't enjoy what you're doing and you're just doing it and you're just going through
yeah,
the motions, people can see that. You know what I
You
mean?
got to
Like
be passionate
yeah.
so
about it.
when the passion comes out, and you can definitely tell that you've got that passion just by the way that you talk
Hmm.
about the plant and present the plant and all of that. So you can definitely see that you have that, and that really shows when you're watching people's content. If they don't like what they're doing, you can tell. If you don't
Oh yeah.
like it, I probably don't like it. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Exactly, exactly. No, for sure. Like even when I'm recording content, I I try to really like think about, because sometimes like not every day is not going to be a Monday, right? Like it just, you're going to have your bad days, but wanting to be
sure.
consistent with posting content, I make sure that I just kind of like put myself back in the zone. Like, why am I really doing this again? Like what is
Yeah.
this all
Yeah.
for? And then all that passion and motivation just comes like running back to me, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, let's talk about the plant, and like let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, not every day is going to be the same day, but I feel like when you're talking about the plant, like like you said, you want to talk about things that you want to watch yourself, and you want to put that energy out there that you want to see yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. No, I like that for sure. What came first, growing or working as a bud tender?
Definitely growing.
Yeah.
I've been growing for about 6 years now. A little
Okay.
over 6 years, probably going to be pushing 7. And I've only been bud tending for a little over a year. I don't know where you guys are at in Canada, but I live in Ontario. I was raised
Same.
in Oakville.
We do
We
too.
all are.
Okay.
Oh,
You're
nice, nice. Yeah,
you're close.
I was raised in Oakville, and I for most of my life I was in Oakville, and then I moved to Richmond Hill, or no, sorry, I moved to Toronto for a year. Hated it because growing up in like growing up
Toronto.
in like a small town, like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
grew up in Bronte, which is in between Burlington and Oakville, and it's just like a really small knit community, and being in Toronto felt like hell. So
Yeah.
I
You
was
moved to the big
I don't
city all of
even
a
like
sudden.
driving through it.
right, yeah, and so like
So I
yeah,
get it.
I had to get out of there, and so I moved to Richmond Hill after. I don't know if you guys know about Richmond Hill, but they
My grandparents
basically.
actually lived in Richmond Hill, so I spent a lot of time in Richmond Hill as a kid. I used to
Oh
go up
yeah,
there and
yeah, yeah,
visit them every Christmas and like all through the year kind of thing. So my grandfather
yes.
actually he worked at Brinks. He was
Okay.
high up at Brinks, so that when they moved back this way, they lived in Richmond Hill.
Cool,
So
cool. Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, because when I lived in Oakville, I would come to Richmond Hill back and forth to see my grandparents, and so that's kind of funny. But yeah, Richmond Hill, when cannabis was legalized in Canada, in I believe it's 2018 of October,
18,
um,
yep.
they voted for there to be no dispensaries in Richmond Hill. So when I was living there, I knew dispensaries were open and stuff like in the surrounding area, but like, you know, they were too far for me to make it viable for me to make anything out of it. And so I never really thought of it. But after living in Richmond Hill, so last March I moved to Collingwood, and Collingwood is like littered with dispensaries everywhere, right? And so
Right.
I kind of thought, like, you know, I'm doing audio engineering. I love the plant,
Collingwood,
you know.
that's it's Ski Town, isn't it? Isn't that like
Yeah,
Blue
yeah,
Mountain
yeah.
and
It's
all
Oh
next
that?
yeah.
to
Yeah,
Blue
yeah, yeah.
Mountain. Yeah, Blue Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm thinking, like, you know, like, we need to make money however you can nowadays, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, whatever, right? And so
Yeah.
I'm doing my audio engineer stuff, and then I'm like, let me just pick up a job at the dispensary. You know, I know about the plant, I know about flower, I know about craft quality, and so let me just see what I can do. And so yeah, I'm pretty sure I got hired like 2 weeks after I moved here. And ever since, it's been like a really, really solid experience where I've been able to learn about more like how the commercial side works, the ins and outs, the negatives, the positives. And even though there's a lot more negatives, I'm hoping that, like, you know, as time goes on, we can make like a better situation and really
Well,
provide medicine. Yeah.
I feel like the more people like you with your perspective that come into this business, I feel like it will change things over
Yeah.
time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight for sure, but if they just keep hiring random people to come in and work the dispensaries, then yeah, it's going to keep going in the same direction that it is. But if the more people that feel the way that you do come in, you know, maybe not necessarily home growers, but people with more of that a respect for the plant, the knowledge of the plant, that actually put the time and effort into learning about what they're talking about.
Yep.
I feel
Yep.
like it will go in a much better direction, but we need that
Oh
to
yeah.
happen first.
For
Yeah.
sure.
For
For
sure.
sure. Definitely. Yeah. It's
I
the
feel like they also got to stop throwing them up too. Like I can walk out of my house and walk 10 minutes and I can see 5 different dispensaries.
Oh, they're
They're
everywhere.
everywhere
yeah.
nowadays. So I feel
They're
like
like Timmy's. They're just everywhere.
exactly. I feel like if they had less of them, I feel like there would be more. It would be more of like a. It would add more to the experience. Like I can go to any street corner anywhere and hit a dispo, and every
Right.
one of them is a different type of flower, and every one of them is a different type of help, and every one of
Yep.
them is a different kind of vibe. I feel like if it was just like, say, Tim Hortons, for instance, if they're all owned by Tim Hortons, one company, and they all had the same standard, and every
Right.
single one I went to was the exact same feel, was the exact same experience, and there's only like 4 of them in the city instead of 400 of them, you know? I feel
Mhm.
like it might be a little bit better as well.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
We
Because,
we
like,
got flooded.
yeah. Yeah. Even like a lot of the shops, like around here, like, we'll have customers asking me, like, how are you guys surviving? Because we have more, like, I think we have double the amount of dispensaries than we do Tim Hortons in Collingwood.
Right.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of competition, and a lot of us have the same product too. It's not like, you know, like, and like our shop, we like to keep basically we have a lot of older folks come into our shop, right? And so we like to keep the things that they like to purchase on the regular, especially the older folk. Like, when they like something, they're going for that
Yeah.
and that only. And so
Yeah.
Yeah.
we normally keep that in stock, but you're not getting too much of a, you know, it's kind of ironic because there's more selection than ever in terms of, like, when you're comparing to the legacy market, but
Sure.
none of the stuff like compares to the legacy stuff, you know? And so, yeah, it's I'm really just hoping that there can be more people from the legacy market who can educate the newer people coming into the game, and you know, whether they're bud tenders or they're growers behind the scenes, they can really put in that craft quality and provide medicine to the market that they're actually looking for. Because I really feel that if the medicine was top notch, people would pay for what they like, what they need, right? If they're not willing to grow it. Again, always encouraging people to
For
try
sure.
growing it, but you know, if you can't, then
I don't know if you guys have very many reservations up near where you are, but here we can go to the reserve and there's, I don't even know, there's like 50 different shops, maybe even more. And they
Oh
all
yeah.
sell flour, they all sell rosin, they all sell hash, they all sell mushrooms, they all sell everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you'll be driving through there, like I might be going there to get gas, and you'll be driving through, and this sign says ounces for $40, ounces for $35, ounces
Yeah.
for $30. And as you're going, the signs just keep getting lower and lower and lower. It's like, how much
Hmm.
lower can you really go? Like,
Yeah.
we're at
No,
$20 for an ounce now. Like, that can't be good. Like, what is this? You know,
I won't
I
lie. There was one time pre-growing where I definitely bought an ounce for $25. It was it was like a pop. It was all the popcorns, but I remember because like the for like the top colas they were selling that ounce for I think it was like 125, but like it was like really the bottom like they forgot to strip the plant kind of thing, but
Right.
it still had like like for 25 for the ounce I will say it was half decent.
You can't
But
complain.
yeah, but like I feel like most of those like $25 options, it's probably not the healthiest smoke.
No.
You
X
know?
and leaves and all kinds of nasty shit in there, you know.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
no, it's
No.
just crazy. It's just crazy to see. Like they really they did more damage than good by doing that. You know what I mean? Because now people can just go buy that shitty flour for
Yeah.
$20, and they will. They will.
Yeah.
And then you got the people who deliver and the side
Oh yeah.
growers, like I've bought off of them where it's like 3 ounce for $120,
Yeah.
and people will go to that because it's delivering right to your door instead of
Mhm.
dispo where you're paying $100 for an ounce.
Yeah. Yeah. Not
It's
to
not
mention the
more.
gas you're paying, and yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
But
exactly.
it's the same thing though. Like it's just crazy. $20 a zip, good worm food.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. That's what
It's
I'm
just like
saying.
a
They really
race to
did
the
more
bottom
damage
kind
than
of
good by
thing.
doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
And
totally
I
agree
get it.
with you.
I get it. These guys are just trying to make a living. They're just trying to sell every inch of that plant, and I fully get it. And I feel that's where pre-rolls come in. That's what the pre-rolls are a lot of the times. It's just chopped up bottom shit, floor weed.
Biomass.
So, right, exactly,
Mhm, mhm.
exactly. But oh well. But
No, it is like a race to the bottom though, because like we're taking away like the true. I don't know. Back then, like, and minimum wage was so much less back then too. But like, if you wanted a good zip of like primo, like I don't know. For me at least, I had to spend a good 250 to $300 for the zip.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
back in the day,
and
yeah,
you
Oh
definitely.
tell that to
yeah.
someone nowadays, and they're like, if it's anything
Oh
over
no.
150, right, right. And so, yeah, I think that I
These
don't know.
kids don't know how good they have it.
Yeah, yeah, right. I tell a lot of the younger folks, like, the 19-year-olds, I gotta ID them and whatnot, and they come in, I'm like, dude, like when I was in high school, like I had to go to some weird places to get like one joint.
Yeah.
You know?
My very first experience buying weed, we ran into a guy that we met. Well, I knew him from school,
Right.
so we ran into him. I asked him. He called a guy from a payphone, and then he said, "Now you got to go all the way over here," and we had to walk miles, miles and miles to get there,
Damn.
uphill both ways in a snowstorm. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And when we got there, I was like, "Oh shit, it's this guy. I know who this is. Fuck, we don't want to meet this guy."
Yeah.
Like we're like 12 at the time. We're just little kids,
Right. Yeah.
allegedly. And like we go into this guy's house and he's got like a gun sitting on the table, and it was just not a good experience as a 12-year-old kid walking in to get weed for your first time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like it kind of makes you feel like at that point you're like, "Oh shit, like maybe my parents were right. Maybe this is bad."
Oh yeah. 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 Because when you
But
when you put the
nowadays,
two together, for sure.
like I feel like most of these kids nowadays that are younger like that, they're not even smoking weed. They probably have never even smoked weed. They're vaping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything's a cartridge now, so
For sure. Yeah, no, a lot of the younger crowd, they come in and they want to get like the disposable vapes and stuff. And honestly, the disposable vapes are, again, like they're kind of like in that line of like how I feel about infused pre-rolls, or at least most of them. Not the infused pre-rolls that use like rosin and just flour. I like those ones, but the ones that they're using botanical terpenes, they're liquid diamonds plus distillate plus this plus that to just make it not weed anymore.
Yeah.
The same thing
There's
is
nothing weed about
happening
that
with,
anymore.
yeah. The same thing's happening with vapes, because a lot of them are they're advertised as liquid diamonds that are 99% THC, and it's kind of silly, because if it's 99% THC, there's no room for botanical terpenes. So what are we talking about? Like, and
Right.
so yeah, like all the numbers are inflated. It's all a lie. I try to tell people all the time, pick your flower based on the experience it gives you. Don't pick your flower based on the numbers that you're seeing. Even the
Numbers.
terpene
Yeah.
percentages are sometimes they're inflated. I've seen flower that rated 5% terpenes. 5% that should stank through the 4 bags, all right? And so
Yeah.
I'll open the bag and like nothing, just hay, and I'm like, what, 5% terpenes? And so I'm believing that a lot of these terpene percentages are being inflated too. So people need to stop focusing on the numbers, and there also needs to be bud tenders though, who can actually provide a real feedback for all of the flower, and to say, hey, I know this says 1.9 terps or whatever, it's low on the numbers, but I promise you this is really good flower, right? And so that we can get to like a real place. I also feel like it would be interesting, I don't know how well it would work, but if we kind of, as opposed to numbers, we also had just kind of like a sensory meter or something, like with spicy food, like this is like regular spicy, really spicy, death spicy, right? If there's kind of like a thing, like in terms of like how loud your cannabis is, or like how potentially messed up you could feel off of it. Yeah, even though like it's like a lower percentage THC, because of the entourage effect, you could get really, really high off this one. And so like I think like a sensory meter would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense.
Yeah. Because then we're talking in like terms of human, just like perspective, as opposed to like rigid numbers, right? And so
And everybody's different too. Like, it's going to affect you differently than it's going to affect me, and it's going to affect Bunny differently again, right? So
absolutely.
it's like
It depends what
alcohol.
you're looking for. Like he said, is it for insomnia? Is it for back pain? Is it for, do you just want a head buzz? What it is you actually want the medicine for has a lot to do with it as well.
Absolutely. And sometimes people don't even know like and again, like speaking on the commercial side, like when customers come in, like I'll ask them, what kind of experience are you looking for? Upper, downer, before bed, for the daytime, functionable. And a lot of time they don't even know. They're just like, I just want to get high. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Cool. There's a lot of ways to get high.
One over there with some really high THC. Just go with that one.
Yeah. Honestly, in those cases, when someone really wants to just get messed up and turn their brain off kind of thing, I'll either recommend just like a really heavy, like an indica. Again, indica, that's like a whole nother conversation of like how those labels don't really matter either. But I like
everything's so watered down nowadays. It's so
Yeah.
hard to even say what anything even is anymore. Everything's hybrid of some kind.
Hybridization is everywhere. Yeah, it's rampant. And so like from experience, I'll try to like tell them what I feel like the heavier flower. Or if we're looking at infused, I have no issues with the ones that are rosin infused, or like, just like a high quality concentrate that's not, not weed kind of thing, where it's so isolated that like you don't even really consider it weed anymore. Whenever I've like tried distillate, for example, it feels so two-dimensional. The experience, the high, I'm high maybe for 20 minutes at most.
It hurts
and
my
it's like
lungs.
It's really harsh.
It's not a good experience.
Like, I feel like I hit a nicotine vape.
We got J Rats. He's in the chat a lot of times. I don't know if I've seen him tonight, but I work with him on a day-to-day basis, and he brings his vapes to work all the time. And he's a flower guy, but
he's the younger crowd as well.
As what?
He's a younger crowd as well.
He is, but he brings the vapes to work all the time, and every now and then I'll be like, "Just give me that thing, let me hit that," and then
Yeah,
I regret it. I regret it every single time I hit it. I choke for 10 minutes. My lungs hurt. Like, oh,
for
it's
sure.
just not fun, you know. But
And it's not
I'm
even coming
I'm
from like
also a
an
smoker,
elitist.
and I've been smoking cannabis for a
Mhm.
long 30 years, you know. So
Yep.
when it comes to the vapes, my lungs aren't what they used to be either. So
Definitely, and yeah, it doesn't even come from like an elitist, like, oh, like only smoke rosin, like, everything else is bad. It just comes from like honest like experience, like it just doesn't have the same medicinal quality as like a full spectrum rosin might have, or something stripped away of everything but THC just might not have the effect that you're looking for, even though it says 99%, and on paper, like you should be on the moon, right? But
yeah.
a lot of time it's just not like that. Yeah.
My question is, how consistent is effect from person to person? What gets one person sleepy may get the next weird and effective. I agree with that. I don't
Yep.
think it's consistent at all. To be honest with you,
Hmm.
the effects from person to person, I think they're completely different. Like
And that's
I could
actually a
have one that
fantastic
puts
comment.
me
Yeah.
right to bed
Hmm.
instantly, right to bed, and then you might be bouncing off the walls, and Bunny might be over there doing an art project for all. You know what I mean? It might make her super creative, might make you wired, and I might be over here in the corner sleeping with the plants. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. And I
so
think
I don't.
too that like some people like don't get me wrong, like when we're talking about specific cultivars, like one that comes to mind is like Trainwreck or Sour Diesel. They're so unique in terms of like their terpene expression and the effect that they provide versus like like a heavy pink Kush or like an OG Kush kind of thing. But I think that people really underestimate how much like what they're doing during their day is gonna like affect their high as well. A lot of people like will come in and they're like, yeah, I did nothing but sit on my couch and eating fried food, and why didn't the sativa give me a bunch of energy? And I'm like, well, like you kind of have to like put yourself in that position too, right? But
Yeah.
For sure. How
like
long
just
was that sativa grown for?
right, yeah, yeah, and
Was it
that's the
all
other
amber
thing.
trichomes when they harvested it? Was it
Mm-hmm.
already all degraded down to CBN, and now it's like a more
Hmm.
sedative type of a high? But it's still technically it's a strawberry cough. It's a full on 100% sativa, but it's
Yeah,
knocking me out because the grower let it grow 3 weeks or 4 weeks longer. You know what I mean? There's so many variables involved that it's hard to
exactly.
even call anything indica or sativa anymore. I more or less use that as like the structure of the plant
Yeah,
and how
plant
long it's going to
morphology.
take in flower. And, that's where I would use an indica sativa term more or less. This one leans more towards this because it looks like this and it's going to grow for this X amount of time. Where this one's short and squatty and the leaves are fat and it's only going to be an 8-week flower strain. That's more of
Mhm.
a indica leaning. You know what I mean? Like you can kind
Yeah.
of judge it that way. But I mean, with effects, I don't. It's so hard to
No,
say anymore.
I'm really glad that you brought that up because my recent harvest, I've been really trying to focus on growing some of those classics that I grew up on, like like the old school BC Kush and like things of that
Yes,
nature. And
yes.
so there's one, the one that I recently harvested was the BC Afghani. So it's supposed to be a 90s
Mm,
hash plant that's crossed with the old BC Kush. And that one was really interesting because like you said, it had that like squat look to it with like the fat like fan leaves and whatnot. But it has this hint of terpinolene in there that like
right.
has this like uppity effect to it. So even though it's like a squat indica, plant morphology,
Yep.
like when I gave it to my brother to try it out, he's like, "Oh man, like this has like a really sour taste. Like it's really like an uplifting feel. It's like a sativa." I'm like, "No, this." And if you look at the plant, that's 100% like a classic textbook indica. And so
Mm-hmm.
it like you said, it doesn't really matter. It's just more plant morphology than anything else.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it comes down to, like you said, the terpenes and the cannabinoids and all the other aspects of the plant nowadays. Like THC almost doesn't even matter, like it
Yeah,
does, but it almost doesn't anymore. It's not the most important number on the board at all.
for
It's
sure,
not even close anymore.
for
So
sure.
yeah, I that's how I look at indica sativa. that type of thing. Like everything is basically a hybrid now. It's so hard to get anything that's 100% this or 100% that. Like
Yeah.
everything is this and this and this and this. And if you look at the lineage of most of the stuff that we grow nowadays, there's like 30 different strains involved in that one strain to get to that.
Right.
Like there was
Right.
one that I have right here. It's Vaderade, Garlotti Baby Yoda. And I decided one day I just want to know a little bit more about it. So I looked it up. I got lost about 10 minutes into looking at the lineage of this because there's so many different strains involved in this one strain. Man, like I would never be able to tell anybody about this because I wouldn't even be able to keep it straight unless I had a printout to show everybody what is actually in this. I'd never even be able to tell you. I couldn't tell you one thing that was in that plant.
You got to keep like a big family tree in your pocket.
Literally, that's what it was, man. It was like I could cover the wall with this family tree. It was crazy. Crazy, but it's definitely cool to do.
Sorry,
I was just gonna say it's definitely cool to do the research and learn about all that stuff too, but there can be a lot to it for sure.
Absolutely. And I think that's what pushed me to like grow some of those classics again is they're less watered down, especially if you're looking in the right places. Unfortunately, as you guys know, like there's a lot of breeders that, you know, they'll say that they have this, they have that, they have that. And I've gone through it all and I just didn't find what I was looking for. But recently, especially, I've been able to, you know, find those breeders that have exactly what I'm looking for. I don't know if you guys know Next Generation Seed Company, but they're awesome. They have a lot of those like classic Canadian strains, like the old school, like BC Purple Kush. The Time Warp is one of my favorite outdoor cultivars. Really like piney, almost like you'd open the bag and it's like pine cones are in the bag. Really cool.
We were just talking about this the other day with our buddy Thurgood. I remember back in the day, I got this flower and it was straight pine trees.
Yeah.
And it was some of the best weed I've ever smoked, like still to this day, for whatever reason, out of all the different strains that I've smoked over my life.
Yeah.
For some reason, I remember this one more than any other one. Even one that I just smoked 10 minutes ago, I still remember this one from when I was 16 years old more than any other one. But you think I'd ever be able to find it again? Never.
Honestly, if you were hunting it out, I would look at that Time Warp from Next Gen Seed Company because they really do honest work with their breeding, and I've found a lot of consistency with their plants. Like even like some of the BC Kush crosses that I've grown, a lot of consistency in terms of like the flower structure and like taste, effect, and things of that nature. But I know exactly what you're talking about, and that pinene terpene is really special because if you know, for people watching, like do your research, but like the pinene terpene has a lot of medicinal properties to it. When you're even comparing it to like other terpenes, pinene's a fantastic one. And I think the fact that it's so hard to find piney weed nowadays, like really piney weed, it just speaks to stepping away from like the medicinal aspects of it. And I really hope that we're able to hone in on that again.
I don't know what it is about it. Like I love the taste, the smell, the effect, everything about it. It checked almost every box that I had, and I was like, man, good stuff. But there was a couple questions that we kind of skipped over.
Yeah,
we're basically at the end, but somebody asked, I think it was Nope, asked, in Canada, can you smell the flower before you buy it in the dispos?
So unfortunately, so we have a few different types of dispensaries in Canada. We have the legal market dispensaries, and then we have the gray market dispensaries. The gray market dispensaries operate under the same notion of what Gannix was talking about, like the reservations, for example, and even like a few shops like you'll find in like downtown Toronto and things of that nature, where they're not fully licensed, but because it's not illegal to run them, they'll get raided now and then, but they'll just open up shop again. Those shops, those shops, you'll be able to, a lot of the time they have jars, you'll be able to open it up and smell the flower before you purchase it. The legal dispensaries, unfortunately not. There is a system that they're starting to put out. So there's a brand called Pure Sun Farms. Not a super big fan of the brand, but they started implementing like a little they're like tiny holes on the bag where the terpenes aren't leaking out, but if you push the bag enough and like release some air, it'll push air out of the bag, so you can get a whiff of the flower.
It's like a vent.
Yeah, it's not the same as like opening a jar and seeing the flower, for what it is, but
Yeah.
it's a step in the right direction. I hope that we can come to a point where, again, it's just more legacy style where people can really see what they're purchasing. It really sucks if you drop like 120, 150 on an ounce and then it's not what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there was another question, I think it was from Tazarello, asked if you grow in living soil.
So living soil,
okay.
honestly, is one of my, like, I would absolutely, and recently I've been looking into it because for a long time I had this like notion in my head that I couldn't grow living soil being in an apartment. I'm
Right.
very limited in terms of my space. As you guys know, like in Canada, like it's like a 4-plant limit, right? Right now I'm growing 2 plants at a time. Like it's really like so for some reason I thought because of my space limitation that like I wouldn't be able to grow organically, but I'm
Yeah.
learning that even with like an XL auto pot system, you can definitely have some great organic runs. And so
Absolutely.
after this run, I love that question was brought up. After the run that I'm doing right now with the Banana OG, definitely stay in tune for that one. I'm really excited about that. Banana is one of my favorite kind of terpenes when it comes to, it's really unique, but yeah,
It is.
after this run, I definitely want to experiment more with living soil and just try to do a run like that. Cause I hear so many things about like, how the terpene expression is so much more, real to like what the plant is. And then it's there's a lot more expression that you're going to see out of that plant with the living soil grow versus synthetics.
I feel like it's a
So-
completely different taste between the two of them. I've done both, and I wouldn't say that I necessarily like one more than the other one, but they're definitely both different. Like
Right.
I enjoy both of them, and I can say that honestly now that I'm not an organic grower at the moment, but if you want, there's I did an episode with Mr. Grow It
Okay.
a couple years ago, and it was growing organically in small containers.
Oh, I'll have to check that out.
That's
Awesome.
specifically growing
Cool.
organically in 3-gallon pots.
Nice.
It's definitely doable. It's
Mhm.
it's on his Garden Talks channel. There might be something in there that might help you out. It might deter you. It might make you want to do it more. But
For sure.
it's definitely doable. A lot of people say you can't do it, but you definitely can. It's just a little bit more work than if you were in, say, like a 4x4 bed. In a
Right.
3-gallon pot, you're just going to have to amend more. You're going to have to be more on time with things. You're just going to have to pay more attention to it. But if you're not an organic grower now, you're growing with salts or some kind of a synthetic nutrient, you're already doing that. You're already in there. You're already putting the time in. So you're already there now. So you're going from that to that. So to me, it's still easier to grow organically. So
For
even
sure.
if you are doing the more work with the small containers. So
I think the whole
you'll
thing
be
with
just fine.
like the plant uptaking what it needs as opposed to being force fed, I think that speaks like just volumes in terms of like how we're treating the plant. Cause like, I feel like a lot of, not, I won't even say a lot of growers, but I've definitely seen growers who like to just pump their plants as much as they can. And sure, like they get a lot of biomass out of it. You'll get a lot of biomass, right? And like, but I feel like when you're growing organically, like you might not, and even that, like I've seen organic runs that like the yields are crazy on like build a
Insane.
soil over and over. I see like the yields are like in the
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of grams per plant. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, man. Like you look at Tazarello, he's the one that asked the question about the living soil. He does like I think it's a 3x3 living soil bed, and then he's got another
Cool.
tent with a living soil giant pot in there, and his plants are absolutely insane. Insane.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to
And
check it out.
he's
Yeah.
growing the Build a Soil way. He's doing the Clackamas Coots mix through Build a Soil and
Oh yeah.
and all
Yeah,
that stuff. But then there's like Cannabis Luke. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've seen the
Oh,
Cannabis Luke out there.
that's my
Like, look
boy
at that
right
guy in
We
there.
the
love,
garden. So,
yeah, we love Luke.
I love
like,
Luke. He put my song in like, when I released that song "Grow My Own." He put it into his YouTube videos before I even made a YouTube
nice,
channel. Like he showed me
nice.
so much love in the beginning, and even till
Yeah,
today,
Luke's
like
cool.
he'll DM me. He'll be like, "Bro, like if you need anything at all, like like hit me up. Like I got you, man.
Yeah,
Like if you got questions, you like whatever, like just let me know." And like he's
man.
such a good guy.
If you're looking to get into organics, that's a great person to have on your side right there.
Definitely.
That, Cannabis Luke, just go straight to him and
Yeah.
model everything you do off of what he's doing, and you'll be doing great.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's funny that like because we were talking about like growing organically in smaller pots and stuff. I truly believe that if I have like a really solid run with that first, like with the smaller pots, I'm just gonna go all in and just do a 2x4
Yeah.
bed and call it a day. Because
If you can do it in small pots, you'll kill it in bigger beds.
yeah.
You'll I don't mean that literally. Like you'll
Oh, yes.
do amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eventually you will, because you'll get to a beautiful harvest and you'll have to cut them down.
Well, yeah, for sure. For the best time,
Yeah,
right?
man. We've hit the hour, which is crazy. They always go by
That flew by.
fast.
Yeah.
And you were a lot of fun to talk to, and I think we'll definitely have to get you back for round 2, because we didn't get very far into your growing. We talked more about the Budtender side of things, so I think we'll have to get you back for
Yep.
round 2 one day in the
For sure.
near
For sure.
future, and we'll dive deeper into your actual growing.
That'd be awesome. And
Sure.
like for anyone who does want to like, tune into more about like, the growing aspects of, what I do, definitely check out my channel, Nanu's Flowers. I'm always posting content. I'm always trying to put out new perspectives. And so definitely check that out, show some love. And I really appreciate you guys. This is actually my first live stream and my first interview.
Yeah.
So thank you guys
there
so
you
much.
go.
Yeah, no, honestly, and especially like, Sea Bunny Grown, like, you like, mentioning me and stuff, like, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate this.
course.
And, yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Absolutely, man. No, we had a blast hanging out with you, and yeah, you're a lot of fun, man. We'll definitely
Thanks.
dive deeper, and like your day-to-day job is super cool too. So I would love to talk more about that later on as well, because
Yeah.
I think cannabis and music go hand in hand. So I think
Yeah.
well, I mean, you got more than one day-to-day job. You're Budtender, but then the music side of things, I think cannabis and music go hand in hand, and
Oh, for sure.
I think we'll definitely get into that one of these days too. So
I'll come
we
back
appreciate
anytime,
you
man.
coming on, man. We definitely
Definitely.
appreciate it. For sure.
Appreciate that so much, eh?
Absolutely. Yes, he's got to drop the right before the end. I love it.
Yep.
I had to,
Love it. Beautiful. But yeah, man, you have a great rest of your week and great rest of your evening, and we'll definitely talk soon.
Appreciate that, man. Ciao.
Sure.
All right.
Have
peace
a
out,
great
brother.
night. That was so much fun.
Oh, was super cool, dude. Very, very,
He
very cool,
is.
dude. Very down to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. That was definitely
Kind of
fun.
figured he was Canadian. He had to be cool.
Of course. Of course. Absolutely. But next week we have
Hemp hook.
we got Hemp Hooks coming on. So he's going to come on and we're going to learn all about what his stuff is and learn all about his training methods and stuff like that. So that'll be cool. I've seen him all over the community lately, everywhere. You can't be in the community without seeing somebody's post with Hemp Hooks. So he seems like a really, really cool dude. Talked to him a little bit, and pretty much everybody that I've talked to that knows him says he's a super cool dude too. So we're gonna get to hang out with him next Wednesday, and we get to find out firsthand just how cool of a dude he is.
Yes.
Friday?
Until then, don't forget Friday we have Show Your Grow. So if you are new and would like to come show your grow, you're more than welcome on Fridays at 9 p.m. till about 11. So yeah, come show us what you got growing on, whether it's cannabis, flowers, veggies, If it's too dark outside and you would like to show your outdoor or your lights are out, you're more than welcome to send a video. Also, if you have bad reception, you're more than welcome to send a video as well.
Yes.
And we just ask that you send the video before Friday. So we'll say like Thursday.
Even if it's
so we
earlier,
see it.
even if it's earlier in the day on Thursday or on Friday, that's okay too. I just don't like getting them at like 8 o'clock when we're live at 9. Also, record them sideways.
Put your phone sideways if you
When you
can.
do it this way, it just makes like a strip in the middle of the screen. So when you do it this way, it fills the screen with your whole garden and everything. And you can send those to Garden Cultivation Network at gmail.com, or you can send it to either myself or C Bunny or the Garden Cultivation Network Instagram. Yeah, other than that,
We'll see you Friday.
peace.